Hi guys, I'm Scott Dewey. I'm going to take you along on my journey of building the Kyhlwood Cabin. From drawing the plans up by hand to milling all of the lumber through the sawmill, through the planer, through the joiners, putting it in the kiln, and really building this process all the way from the tree to the cabin. So follow along. There'll be some music along the way. There'll be some talking. There'll be some videos. But we hope you enjoy it. So this is kind of an important step to talk about because even though you cut it through the sawmill and you've got a good bandsaw, saw cuts it pretty square, you still don't have square edges. So we ran one side through the joiner after it came out of the planer, and then we run the other side to the width we want through the table saw, and that ends up with the correct board with a straight edge on both sides. And now it's going to go on the stack and be ready to build with. Okay, this was about a 3-month process of gathering all the wood, getting it all ready, waiting for the ground to thaw out enough, and now we got the floor plans. We're going to get down there and start putting posts in the ground and getting our foundation built. You want to make sure you get your posts plenty deep in the ground. We used 2 bags of concrete around each post, and all those posts were cut out of black locust trees, so they have some great ability to fight the elements. We continue on building our foundation out. You can see where water or rain might get to the foundation. I'm using red cedar. You can see that'll be the deck there in the future out there, the red stuff. And then we'll start decking it out and building some walls. Well, we're getting closer. So here's the steps where they'll come in. This will be a deck overlooking the pond. Enter the cabin right here. "16 foot wide, 24 foot long. There'll be a loft at that end, 8 foot. And then this room is the bedroom. And then next to the deck, big window here too, overlooking the pond. Well, we're about 3 weeks into the build here, and up until this point, I've been pretty much running solo. But thank goodness Keith was able to come help me today, and we're going to get this big ridge pole up so that we can start installing rafters. It was quite a job, but we were able to get it done. Beautiful day. You can see it was about sunny and 90. And Keith was a trooper, and we kept on rolling, and by the end of the day had all of the rafters up. Once the rafters were up, Keith had to go back home, but I got to work on putting up the pine that we'd cut through the sawmill. It's all 1-inch thick pine. I went ahead and polyurethane the cabin side of the pine before installing it, and it's going to work as my structural roof that will be finished on the inside, and then we'll put insulation on the top side before we put the steel down. So we buttoned up the boards on the roof and then moved to finish putting the OSB around the whole outside and getting the whole building closed in. This got a little bit more work as you continue to do some of these things by yourself, setting up the pallet on the forks, to climb up a ladder, to put the insulation on the roof, building scaffolding along the side of the building so you can do the gable ends, and then figuring out a way to get the steel up to the roof and get it off and put it on yourself. It was quite the experience, but Jenna came down to see the finished product. We had a little fire and then started putting the house wrap around the outside. Okay, back and forth again to the house and back to the cabin. Now it's time to get the windows down there and start putting windows in. We got all of the small windows on one load, got those installed, and then headed back to get the big window to go in the bedroom. Well, we're several more weeks into this cabin, and it's time for the siding. My good buddy Nick Baker had actually cut down a bunch of cedar trees, and we hauled those home to the mill and milled all of our own siding out of that red cedar. It's quite a process. Actually, you have to pick the board up and drop it down for every single piece of siding that you cut. Well, good morning. Making some progress on the siding. Actually added an extension to this end, which is going to be a little lean-to hold a 200-gallon water tank that'll be plumbed into a sink. And then also the pond side of that little shelter there will be a shower. So we're gonna have to head back up to the sawmill. Took some measurements. Looks like I need about 11 more 12-footers to finish that piece, and about 60 8-footers of siding to knock out most of this end. I got to cut some more 2x4s to frame in the doors for the lean-to, and then siding for that end. And then we'll start working down towards the bedroom and around the corner. Oh my gosh, I haven't been that excited in a long time. I got the last piece of siding on the cabin. But it didn't end there. We headed back up to the mill and cut the deck boards for the deck. Got those installed, which turned out just awesome. I mean, it really finished off the whole underside of that deck, made it start feeling like a cabin. And Now we're ready really to wrap all that up and head on to the inside and start working on that. Well, one of the things I really wanted in this cabin was a fireplace. So that's where we started, getting the tile floor put in, getting some mortar on the walls so that we could actually get started putting that rock on the back side of where the fireplace was going to be. This was quite a process, and you can see that here. Everything's just a little bit more difficult when you don't have a hose and power at your fingertips. You gotta make sure you got gas for the generator. But we're gonna be mixing up some mortar, so you might as well come along with me. This for sure was a learning process for me, getting the right amount of mortar on the back of a stone so that it held good to the wall. And then, picking out the stones that fit. You got this big pile of stones and you just keep kind of going through it. You find the right match. It's like putting together a big puzzle, but when it's done, it's awesome. Moved on to the loft, got the boards up there for the loft, then headed back up to the house to get stuff for wainscoting. So I cut some hard maple here, I don't know, 3-4 months ago. Air dried it for about a month and then put it in the kiln. So I'm just unloading the kiln, taking out all the stickers between rows. Unloading this maple up on the tractor. I'm going to take it over and run it through the planer. And this is actually going to be the wainscoting for the inside of the cabin. So it'll go 3 foot around the whole bottom of the inside of the cabin, and we'll probably go pine from there up. You'll see the fireplace and stuff. We'll put rock face, like that fox rock, around behind the fireplace. And then we'll run this maple vertical. There's a lot of different sizes. There's probably 8, 10, 12, even some 15, 16-inch wide boards. So I'll probably tongue and groove it, run it vertical, and then we'll go horizontal over top of that with pine. So a lot of processes and cutting all of your own stuff through the mill, drying it, prepping it, planing it, edging it, sawing it, installing it. So this is the unloading of about the 3rd step. After getting the wainscoting on and the steel wainscoting in the kitchen, we decided to take a day and put the windmill up on the pond, and that was enjoyable. Now it's time to head back with stuff to do the bar, the loft, the ladder to the loft, and start getting the rest of the interior stuff finished out to really have this thing start coming together. I was super excited about the kitchen and the Templeton rye barrel. We had an old metal tub that we used as the sink. and kind of that all came together in a pretty cool old-fashioned kitchen. Got the bedroom done. Wainscoting in there is pine. We actually stained it, and that kind of matches all the other beams in the house. And then really just finishing up the rest of the interior stuff, cleaning up, and getting ready to maybe go work on a dock. Well, here's kind of a run through after cleaning up. We kind of got a quick view of the kitchen there, the living room, the loft, the stairs up to the loft. They're pretty nice. You don't have to just climb a ladder. Got the fireplace in, and fan installed. It's all running off a generator. Exterior is done. Got a fire going. And now it's time to haul down the furniture. We're going to finish off the floor with a nice walnut floor this summer. But we got the chairs in, the tables in, got a couple deer heads hung up on the wall, and now time to take a break. The break didn't last long though, because we still needed to build the horse stables. So same thing, we put those in with posts. I used some old stiffeners from garage doors actually for the framing of my roof. Built a corral around it, and got ready to bring the horses in. Well, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video of the build. It took almost the entire summer, but we've got it done and in action. We do horse camps down at the cabin for the kids in the summertime. But the great part about it is this is open to the public as well. You guys can come enjoy this cabin. You're probably seeing this video on Facebook. Look us up. Nice wintertime getaway. Build a fire in the cabin and hang out, or just rent it for the weekend. We'd love to talk to you, and we'd love to get your feedback on what we thought was a really fun summer building the Kyhlwood cabin.